Jesus Christ made the most profound statements about worry that the world has ever heard in Matthew the 6th chapter. Therefore I say unto you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, or what you will drink, or about your body, what you will put on. Isn't life more than food, and the body more than clothing?
Hey everybody, it's Charles Grove with Foraging Truth. I'm back at our eastern hemlock tree, and as you can see, the reishi mushrooms that I showed you before are starting to get this bright sheen. Remember, this is Ganoderma Tsugae, the reishi mushroom. So Ganoderma, Gana meaning brightly colored or sheen, derma meaning skin, that's what they're talking about. This is really smooth, and you see the color starting to come out on them. And you also see this big white puffy area. Now some people actually eat this. They'll carve this away and they'll fry it up. I myself, I don't enjoy that. So you'll also note that it has a porous surface, no gills. There's no gills on this mushroom, but you can, if I can get my camera to focus, you can see the pores on the underside of this mushroom, and what they do is they drop the spores for next year's mushrooms. And as we go around the tree, you'll notice they get bigger and prettier. Just absolutely amazing mushroom. Here, you don't want to step on them. They come off the roots, so you have to be careful where you step. If you have spots like these, they come out everywhere on the tree. Now, this mushroom mostly grows on the eastern hemlock tree. You will find it on some types of hardwoods. But the reason that I look for this mushroom is because of the medicinal qualities, and we're gonna get to that in the end of this video. So, how do you find Ganoderma Tsugae, or the reishi mushroom? Well, you have to be able to identify the eastern hemlock tree. So, take a good look at the bark. It's really deep and really rough, furrowed. It has a gray-brown pattern. There's also some other types of crust fungus growing on this tree because this is a dead tree. I cannot even count the mushrooms on this tree, which I probably won't need to find too many more of these, but it doesn't hurt. Now, when you find this mushroom and you positively identify it, you can take this mushroom home. These mushrooms are going to grow a lot more. I'm not going to harvest maybe one, but I'm not going to harvest a lot of these mushrooms because they're going to be bigger. They're going to be more like a flat fan shape to them, and they are really good for their medicinal qualities. Their medicinal qualities can be extracted with a water extraction or with an alcohol extraction. So I'm going to cover both of them in these videos. So let's get on to the eastern hemlock tree. It's going. Okay, so we're going to harvest one of these reishi mushrooms just to take home, and I'm going to try drying it at an earlier state. But you'll notice it's corky. It's real spongy at this age. It bruises brown. You can see it already starting to bruise, which is unique. And you can see my fingerprints bruising on the underside. So, it's got the brightly colored sheen, almost like a wax. Like it's been varnished or waxed. It's got a real puffy white edge. It's real soft to the touch that you can see leaves marks when you touch it. And it also bruises a brown or tannish color. It's very corky. And this is the inside material. So we're going to go ahead and take this and put this in our mushroom bag, and we're going to come back up here when these mushrooms are probably 10 to 12 inches across. So let's get on to more of the identification of the eastern hemlock tree. All right, guys, Charles Grove with Foraging Truth, and I've brought you back to the spot that I brought you a couple different times to talk about Ganoderma Tsugae. Gana meaning brightly colored skin, Tsugae meaning the type of substrate this mushroom lives on. Now, this is brightly colored skin. It has a doughy margin. You'll see that it has no gills on the underside. It's just a porous surface, which is a polypore mushroom. The substrate is a fancy word for what this tree uses to live on. This is the eastern hemlock tree, Tsugae canadensis. So, Tsugae canadensis, the eastern hemlock tree. Now, this tree is dying. Actually, this tree is dead. It broke off at the top, but the roots are still attached. This mushroom, Ganoderma Tsugae, or the Reishi mushroom, grows on dead wood, but it also has been known to grow as a parasite. So it'll actually parasitize the eastern hemlock tree. This one I believe is dead, but like I said, the roots are still intact, so this could be maybe a mix of both. Now, this mushroom is primarily it breaks down the lignin of the wood, not so much the cellulose, but maybe a little bit of the hemicellulose, and that's how this tree or this fungus breaks down and uses the nutrients from this dead wood to create something for us that's really special. Again, I've talked about the Creator and His creation, which I believe is the God of the Bible, and I believe His creation story. The more I look into it, the more it just affirms my beliefs. And with this tree comes a fruit that, in the creation, of course, the fallenness of man, God had no choice but to punish us like children, you know. And when we punish our children, we do it out of love. And if you do it out of anything other than love, you might want to stop, check yourself, right? Because all punishment is given by love to guide. So within the punishment of death and decay, He brings us love. And the love is this medicine right from the woods. There are 4 key areas where Ganoderma Tsugae shines. And the Reishi mushroom, which is Ganoderma Tsugae, it's just another name. The Reishi mushroom helps us with air pollutants, primarily with diesel exhaust. Diesel exhaust has been known, once you make a tea out of this mushroom, which I'm going to get into later, it helps your cells to repel the toxins from diesel exhaust. And all these studies have been done by the science community. So it's all backed up by the science. And all you have to do is look up the Reishi mushroom, Ganoderma Tsugae, and you can read all the reports on the things that this mushroom does for you. Another area it shines is your immune system. Again, it is an immune system modulator, which it helps an overactive immune system come down to normal. It helps a underactive immune system come up. Very, very important for a lot of people, and also very good. And how the Reishi mushroom helps us with an overactive or underactive immune system is through beta-glucans, which are found in the Reishi mushroom. We are going to get into hot water extracts, which is just making a tea, and ethanol extracts, which helps break down the chitin in the cells of this mushroom to help release the nutrients that we need from it. Another health benefit from Ganoderma Tsugae, or the Reishi mushroom, is its ability to help defend against cancer. The mushroom, what you'll do is you'll take this mushroom home, and what I tend to do is dry it out. Well, I slice it up and then dry it out, and then I would make a hot water extraction or a tea from that. And what that does is it actually helps you fight off certain types of cancer to a degree. I'm not saying that this is a cure for cancer. Of course, there are a lot of scientists working right now with Ganoderma Tsugae and the compounds found in Ganoderma Tsugae to use down the road for treatment of cancer. So this is a very beneficial thing to learn, and this is in our backyards in the Appalachian Mountains. Now, this mushroom is closely related to the Ganoderma lucidum, and Ganoderma lucidum is the classic Ling Chi mushroom, even though there is a little bit of a debate going on about if it's a true Ling Chi mushroom or, you know, where this thing fits in. But Ganoderma lucidum, the Ling Chi mushroom, has been used for thousands of years in Chinese medicine. So knowing these things is our ability to go into our surroundings and find what we need. And this mushroom is one of my favorite mushrooms to get. Now, some people do cut away this white doughy edge. See if you can see it better, maybe on this one, this white doughy edge, and they'll fry this up in a pan. I personally don't care for that. I'd rather just slice the mushroom into thin slices and put it in my dehydrator and save it for later. It does go very good with a lot of the other wild plants that we make teas from, some mints, some other things. It has a very mushroomy smell, and I have already cut one off. And there are some other ways you can identify this. As you can see, as soon as I touch this mushroom on the pore surface, you can see my thumbprints and my fingerprints on that. And from cutting it away, it will bruise slightly brown on the underside. The top is very, very sheen, it looks like somebody actually came out and painted this mushroom. It is absolutely beautiful. I love the reds and the browns. Photographers, I would suggest that you go out and get some pictures of this mushroom. This is absolutely amazing. This is a beautiful work of God that he gave us. And you can also see that brown bruising where I cut the mushroom off, and you can see how meaty this thing is. It's just real meaty and woody, and you just want to find this mushroom. This is an amazing thing. So I challenge you to do all of your research, to go out, find the eastern hemlock tree. Once you find the eastern hemlock tree, start looking for the dead trees laying around and start looking for Ganoderma Tsugae. This is the perfect time of year. Late spring, early summer, this mushroom is out. It is in full bloom in a lot of the cases. This tree is absolutely covered around the backside of it. This is where I come to harvest my mushrooms. I always leave a couple behind because I want the spores to come down and produce more mushrooms for my next season. I also like to pass these things out to a lot of my friends that have some autoimmune deficiencies and that are battling some cancers. I can actually, I like helping them out because we never know. We never know how many days we have on this planet. We never know when our last day is going to be. So what we do is we pass on to our children, and we pass on to our friends, we pass on to our neighbors, which I'm doing right now, and we pass on to the world things to help our lives are right here in the mountains. If you're going on long treks in the woods, if you knew these things, it's just going to help you out. It's going to make it just a little bit more comfortable for you if you're out surviving, you know, backpacking, or just enjoying nature, hiking. Knowing these, when you run into them, you know what they are, and then you can harvest some for yourself. And I encourage you to learn more, to positively identify, always know 100% that you have the right mushroom, and keep foraging. This is Foraging Truth with Charles Grove. I hope I've reached you. I hope you like and subscribe. I have a lot larger following on Facebook than I do on YouTube, which I would like to switch those over to YouTube as well. It would just help me out. And I'm gonna keep bringing you more mushrooms. There's gonna be many more mushrooms, and a lot more plants. We have Solomon seals out. We have ginsengs popping. I've been seeing my ginseng areas, they're coming up. We have golden seal. We have all kinds of amazing things right here in our own forest. And let's get a hold of that. Like and subscribe. Help me out, guys. Help me out. Okay, guys, I got my table cleaned up from doing the dried saddle, or Ceroporus squamosus, and we're going to move to the reishi mushroom. And as you can see, I just took a few of them off that tree that I keep taking you back to. There was a lot of other trees that had them on right now, but I'm going to let some of those other ones get a little bit more further along. They get a little bit thinner instead of being so thick and meaty. As you can see, I got a stack of them. I'm not going to do them all. I'm not going to keep you that long. Okay, so first thing, every mushroom gets dirt on it. So again, I already mixed my salt in. Some of these, they grow rather rapidly, so there could be some dirt and debris in there. But again, we're not eating this. We're going to make a tea from it. So what I do, let's see, I might not have to use that one yet, is I try to start thinly slicing without breaking. It's the key. You don't want a lot of broken material. But as thin as you can go. And I just slice through, make thin slices. Sounds easy, but it can be quite difficult because of the type of skin this mushroom has. And make sure you don't cut yourself. And as you can see, that material and how that mushroom grows, how spongy it is. I can actually dry that chunk. Then we can go into some of the bigger specimens just to get more of an idea. And what I do after I do this is I go over to my dehydrating trays and I start laying this stuff out in my dehydrating tray because I like to dehydrate it. Not really any rhyme or reason. You just fit it all in, get some air in around it, so when the air is passing through, it dries a little faster. Just try to fit it all in. And what I was telling you about, some people like to eat this mushroom. I've just seen it. I personally don't know anybody that likes to eat it, but I've seen people online, and what they do is they carve this soft section away right here. I myself don't do that. I mean, I'll still just dry this out, but they'll cut this soft section away and then just slice it up. And you can see how soft it is. And they take that and they throw that in a pan for frying. But I like to get the medicinal benefits from this mushroom. By deriving them from a hot water extract or tea, or, which I'm going to show you next, doing a alcohol extraction and actually making a tonic or a the word's escaping me right now, a tincture. So that's all we do. We slice this mushroom away in thin slices, and you set it on your drying rack or your dehydrator if you have one. I mean, you could probably air dry it, but you take the chance of, you know, mold or mildew taking over, because especially like at the phase I have this mushroom, it has a little bit more moisture to it, and you can wait a little bit longer and get a more woody mushroom. You might even have to cut on a bandsaw or another type of saw that you have, but I actually prefer doing it this way. You can hear that chitin when I'm cutting it. It's a tough mushroom. Very beautiful, tough mushroom. So once I get so far in here, I'll have a tray filled up, and I have plenty more to do. Of course, I plan on making a good amount of tincture this year. I ran out last year. So that's pretty much it with preparation, and I'll get into tinctures once I get some of this dried, which I'm probably just going to do what I have here to expedite that process, because I want to get this information out to you guys while the season's still hot. So I'll take this in and get it dried so we can make a tea in front of you, and we can also show you how to make a tincture. All right, hope to be back to you soon. Okay guys, I have my reishi mushrooms dry. They are really crispy, as you can hear. This is what you want. You want dried out. They're almost like wood chips. But you want them to be completely dried out. And what you want to do is, I usually take my cleaned, sanitized mason jar, and I break these up a little bit more to get more surface area. And the more surface area, the better, because you want to expose these cells in this chitin to as much of the alcohol to break down this chitin and get these nutrients out of the mushroom. And I typically fill up a mason jar about halfway, I guess. And this is a quart jar, so about halfway full of dried Ganoderma Tsugae or Reishi mushrooms. You can tell summer's coming. The bugs are getting bad out here in the farmland area. But I have a few trays of these, and it's still kind of corky, but it's all dry. You can tell by the feel of it. And the thinner the pieces, the more dry they are. But as long as you have as much of the cell membranes exposed that you can, you're going to strain this out later anyway. And I just continue to break and feed this jar until I see that it's about halfway full. So let's get there. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but I still have more to do. So when the season comes, you know, I just kind of plan on getting this stuff done, and then throughout the winter months, you know, I can feed my body the nutrients that are around when these mushrooms are around, you know, in bloom. So it's just another way of preserving these things and keeping them around. Now I can take these and put them in mason jars and seal the mason jars. Keep this material for a very long time. As long as you have all the air taken out and they're completely dry, you shouldn't get any, and the jars are completely sanitized, you shouldn't get any kind of mold or bacteria, and you'll be able to see it developing inside here if you didn't do it well enough. And then I would say don't use that, because it will make you sick. But as long as you dry it out the right way, and you get the equipment sanitized that you're going to be using well. Oh, I lost a piece there. Then you shouldn't have any problems. And this one big jar will make a lot of little jars, because you don't need to take very much of this. Maybe a tablespoon at the most. But some Indians that I've talked to, Native Americans, sorry, some Native Americans that I've spoke to said that they actually cure Lyme disease with this as well. I don't know if that has something to do with the immunomodulatory benefits of this mushroom, to why that would be said or stated. Of course, that has not been evaluated, anything I've ever read about it. But you know, it's just interesting that the cultures have used this mushroom for a very long time, you know, as the Native Americans did. And I'm pretty sure the settlers were probably, I can't say the word, the founding fathers might have used this mushroom as well. I haven't done that much research on it. I just found out that it was a very medicinal thing. So I wanted to try it for myself and see the health benefits, and it definitely does have a lot of health benefits. I feel good when I take my dose, if I have a dose a day. And this is almost half full, so I think a few more of these big pieces and we'll be done. Okay. Definitely does resemble wood chips when it's in this form. Now you can make a tea out of this. You don't have to do an alcohol extraction on all this. You can save some of this and just make teas out of it. And all you do is I bring my water to a boil, and then I throw my material in, and I just let that simmer. And I'll let that simmer for a couple hours. But let's get our alcohol extraction done. So we have our jar, we have our quart mason jar halfway full. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour this alcohol in here, and this is a vodka. This one is listed at 80 proof, which I've heard 90 proof works a little bit better, but I don't really go over that because I don't want to break down any of the vitamins and medicinal qualities of. I'm afraid of using something so high that maybe it would burn up everything that I'm trying to use it for. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill my jar up with vodka. Okay, and there's one bottle of vodka down. Cassie, my wife's dog. She's cute. So I'll get the jar lid on there really well. Get the alcohol to all the surface that we can get it to. And this starts our decoction. And we are going to, I can actually see the mushroom since it's dried, it's just taken in, it's just soaking up all the alcohol. And what that's going to do is it's going to break down these chitin, the chitin lining to this mushroom, and it's going to release all of the nutrients that are inside these cells. And you can actually kind of see the level of it going down because it's actually bringing that, it's sucking that alcohol in. So in about 30 days, I'm going to have a dark concoction in here, and we are going to take and strain that out. It'll be a lot darker. It'll be like a dark, maybe a really dark tea. And we're going to strain that out, and then we're going to put it into smaller jars, and then it's ready to take a dose a day. So, Charles Grove with Foraging Truth. Keep foraging. You guys have a good day.